But now, because we can, let's turn it around and attack the little girl, shall we? She has now, the little girl who goes by... Possum Number one, right,
yes.
has now posted on the blog talking about the people who have expressed skepticism that she wrote that essay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry to say, while her writing skills remain impeccable, her reasoning skills could use some more work.
Oh.
Because she makes this leap from people being skeptical of her ability to have written that to being, I forget the exact word she used, but it's like she interpreted that as people berating her, as if she was being criticized for being able to write that well.
Some people did berate her, although not about...
But that's not the reason. She was talking about the fact that there was doubt that she wrote it in the first place. No. I don't know anybody who liked the message who would have criticized her for having written it. Right? That is, but you got to go read this thing that she...
I've read everything on the blog.
She was, however, also berated by a fellow atheist, I think, as you suck because you're being a pain in the ass about Christmas, and you must lead a joyless existence.
That's a separate issue from what she was talking about in this letter. The other thing is...
Well, I don't know, man. If people are questioning whether you wrote the thing, then they're basically accusing you of plagiarism. Were they criticizing? Is she taking it as that?
Read the letter. That's not the kind of attack she was claiming was being directed at her. And she compares this to kids in the Olympics, little kids in the Olympics who have amazing athletic skills, right? And I think what she is missing is that when people see little kids in the Olympics displaying amazing athletic skills, we are amazed. Just every little bit as much, and I'm being a little defensive here because on the last episode, I was one of those people that expressed some skepticism at that a young person of that age could have written what Matt read to us. Right? My first reaction was amazement and skepticism. Skepticism is a good thing. When people see a young athlete doing amazing things, we're amazed, but we're seeing it actually happen. Right there in front of us. Right? When it's an essay, it's just some words in a text file. We did not see where that came from. And if we turn around and express skepticism, that's a good thing. Yeah. I mean, I am not digging in my heels, and I don't know of anybody else out there digging in their heels and now insisting that, oh no, it's some kind of lie, and it's a conspiracy now to get us to believe that this is written by this kid. No. I accept it now. But I stand by my initial skeptical reaction.
Sure.
Most of the people that are following that blog are atheists and therefore, by nature, skeptics. And that's a good thing.
I don't think she was at all worried about people being skeptical or curious about whether or not she could have possibly written it. There's an implication of the skepticism that we, as a society, don't think that those writing skills are held by 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds. And that's the justification behind the skepticism. Now, on the one hand, she could very well take that as a compliment and say, well...
And she should.
And I definitely think she should.
And I don't see that in her letter.
And while the gymnast analogies may not be, completely accurate, because you do get to see that, and obviously her writing to tell us that her original writing is true isn't necessarily going to be any more convincing. She was kind of, essentially it wasn't even her. It was her mom who was labeled a fraud, because those who came in with the blatant accusations that there's no way an 11-year-old wrote this were basically calling her mom a liar and discrediting her own abilities. And her point was that this is a matter of practice, like the gymnasts, like the acrobats, where I read a lot, I write a lot, I practice at it, I get better. That was the point, not the we're not amazed by gymnasts. It was, this is a skill that you develop in much the same way that a gymnast develops skill.
And she also made the point, which I thought was excellent, that we tend to sort of elevate people who do really well in sports, but not...
But that has nothing to do with anything. That has nothing to do with the issue. Is people presented with an extremely well written essay and told it came from an 11-year-old kid, right? When the reaction is skepticism, that is not only reasonable, right?
Yeah.
But there's, I mean, to the effrontery that she displays in her response on that blog, I think completely misses the point. Yay, I'm glad you can write so well. That's fantastic. Of course, a lot of people, when first presented with that, had doubt. Of course they did. You're not, your ability is not common. Maybe it should be, maybe it should be respected more. That's all fine, but all beside the point. The fact is, it's not common.
Your skill is rare.
Congratulations, but don't be lashing out now at people that were skeptical of your abilities in the first place.
In fairness, I don't really see this so much as a lashing out. It was an explanation, a justification, and a thank you message, all in a short little couple paragraphs. And this from an 11-year-old whose mother had been accused of fraud, whose abilities had been doubted. And in fairness, when we're on the TV show, and somebody questions your integrity or hints about questioning your integrity, or somebody even hints about a threat of hell, you do lash out. So it seems unfair to criticize a 12-year-old girl for defending her reality in a position where she cannot identify herself without coming under more criticism. And, I don't see anything remotely unreasonable about anything she said. It may not be the best analogy, but...
Did the thank you come at the end? Cause I had it read to me, and I may not have heard the entire thing.
Here's the end of it.
All I heard was somebody being personally offended that others doubted their abilities.
You don't think there's a justification for personal offense?
When the situation is the person involved is astonishingly talented, no, I don't think so.
I think pretty much any time somebody accuses you of being a liar, there's a justification for personal offense. Your talent is irrelevant.
But the fact that she brings up the whole Olympic athlete thing means she's not talking about lying. She's talking about ability.
No, you're confusing the two. It's her ability that's in question. She's being accused of not having that ability. You're confusing her gymnast analogy with what her actual position is.
Wow.
Anyway,
well, we could go over this with a fine-tooth comb, and I'm betting it would be way no fun.
We've heard.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm I just want to be the voice of the people who she was writing to. Apparently, you guys aren't them. I am them, and now I'm personally afraid.
And I don't think you're them. And I think your feeling that you are the person she was writing to is what's causing you to look at it this way. I think she was talking to the people who posted on the blog, calling her an asshole and pessimistic, and calling her mother a liar and saying there's no way that an 11-year-old wrote this. I think those are the people who she was speaking to, not your honest skepticism of whether or not an 11-year-old wrote it.
But there's no difference between being skeptical that she wrote it and implying that therefore somebody somewhere's pulling a fast one.
They did more than
I cannot help the fact that my skepticism implies that. But there has got to be a level at which you can express your skepticism without it turning into this spiral of
and I think you expressed
revenge.
Skepticism at that level, and the people she's talking to did not. They went the step beyond sheer.
Okay.
I doubt this is. I don't really get the feeling that this is true. There were some people who posted, I know this is a fraud because it's just all too perfect. There were those types of things. Yeah. That's not the type of skepticism you exercised, and I don't think it's what she was talking about.